We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Hi, I'm Dave Gamble, Farmers District Manager in the South Bay of Los Angeles. And today, again, I'm happy to talk to Heidi Rodriguez, new agent on our retail program. And today, Heidi has volunteered to share some thoughts on her decision to become an agent. Heidi, good to see you again.
Hi, Dave.
So, Heidi, first off, I was hoping, being an agent is really synonymous with being a business owner. So, Heidi, can you tell me a little bit about your family and how it's been juggling a family and starting a business, and how's all that going for you?
Well, Dave, I have a husband and I have a daughter that's 9 years old. She's elementary school age still. So, right when I became an agent, pandemic hit. So, she had to be homeschooled, and I'm starting a business at the same time. My husband is active duty in the Marine Corps, and he's driving back and forth from here to Camp Pendleton and Oceanside, which is about 80 miles one way. So it's been a lot different juggling all those things, but I am someone that is very patient. I've noticed that, and everyone tells me you're so patient, and I don't get over. I try to not overwhelm myself, and when I start to feel like I am, I take a break. So it has been really difficult in a way, as in I am not working by myself. There's people in the house as well, my daughter, my husband. But, they're very supportive. They know that if I'm on the phone, they need to stay quiet. And my daughter's a little older now, so she's a little more self-sufficient. And for me, it's just a challenge. But if I can do it now, I know I can do it later on even easier.
I hear you loud and clear. Having the
Mhm.
support of your family as you launch a business is hugely important. And now more than ever, as some of us are working at home during this time, it's super helpful that they understand what's going on and they're getting a firsthand view at just what a pro you are. So that's pretty cool. So, Heidi, when you thought about becoming an agency owner, tell me about the steps you went through and what was your journey like?
Fear. I come from a family of business owners. My mom and dad have a restaurant. So I've always had that in me since growing up. Entrepreneurship has always been a big part of my family. So I always thought to myself, if I'm, working this hard for someone else, like, oh my gosh, imagine how I would work for myself. So for me, some of the steps that I took was, trying to learn as much as I could about insurance overall, and being financially responsible as far as I'm trying to keep all my personal costs low so that when it is time for me to open my business, that I can do it without having so much cost on my personal side that it would be overwhelming, or digging into my business income. So that's one of the things that for about a year, I was really being careful with how I spent my money.
I think that's super smart. If you're going to start a business, you've got to have capital. And at Farmers, we do require $50,000 in capital available to our agents. It's not money that we need here at Farmers, but we want to make sure you can make payroll. And when you have an office, when we're not in a pandemic, that you can afford an appropriate retail office and have a real professional place of business to conduct business from. So let's talk about when you first got your licensing. Some people struggle with it. Some people tell me it's hard. It's been a few years, as you can tell by the color of my hair, since I got my insurance license. How did you find the experience, Heidi, of becoming licensed?
Well, I took my time. I did the at-home online course for the 40 hours for the property and casualty. And then I went to one of these weekend crash courses the weekend before my test. And on my first attempt, I passed the test, but I can honestly tell you, I was super focused. I didn't take it lightly. I've noticed from working in other offices, people that take it multiple times, I'm not going to knock them, but the truth is, people think this is like maybe like a driving test at the DMV, and it's not like that. It's very a lot more complex. And if you're just focused and you really put in the study, I studied maybe 5 6 days a week, 2 hours a day for maybe a month before I was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to go take this test, and then I passed it. So I would much rather do that than go over and over. I've noticed that when it comes to test taking, I either do really well or I do really bad. So I was lucky that that time I did really, really well.
That's cool. I'm the same way. I like to focus on what I'm studying. I don't want to take a test more than once. That's for darn
No.
sure. So, to be clear, to get your two main license, the property casualty and life and health, it's a 92-hour endeavor. And luckily, you get to
Yeah.
break it up into chunks of 52 hours and then 40 hours. And so you broke it down. You said, okay, I'm going to work on this 2 hours a day to whittle away at that first 52 hours, and then you did it
Hmm.
again for the life and health. And yeah, that's just what it takes. And you're probably working at the time, and you carve out the time that you can. That's great. So Heidi, let me ask you, thus far in your journey, what surprises have you encountered, and how have you handled those?
The surprises I've encountered are that you're responsible for everything now. So may it be a stamp to an envelope, you need to make sure you have all that before you're working for someone else using all their resources. So now you just have to be a little more organized with everything and have all the things you need at your just like ready to grab. um, One of the other surprises that I got was I didn't expect like my immediate circle to be so supportive. I didn't think they would understand because everyone thinks, oh, insurance, whatever, it's boring. But everyone's been very supportive and helping me get the word out. So I'm surprised that people are, extending their hand to help me out.
Well, that's great to hear. Let me ask you, for folks considering this opportunity, what recommendations do you have for people that may be thinking about becoming an insurance agency owner?
Like I said earlier, be responsible with your spending and your money so that you have the capital. I luckily haven't had to dig into my capital much because we do have a very generous compensation and bonus program. But if you are going to be opening your office and getting staff, so have that money so that you can still have your regular life and pay off your personal bills. And I would say just be positive. And I know it's scary and you could have a lot of doubt, but we are like we are the toughest on ourselves. So just believe in yourself and have your family be on board as well.
Yeah, self-confidence in what you do will take you miles down the road, that's for sure. And there's no substitute for family support. That's for darn sure. So as you reflect back on your transition to ownership and becoming a business owner, what stands out to you as some of the pros and cons along the way of that journey?
Well, one of the pros is that you are your own boss and you don't need to ask permission to go to that doctor's appointment with your kid and the stress of, oh my gosh, I just asked for the other time off and now, so it's a lot of freedom. That's one of the pros for sure. The income and the opportunity to, help your family and help yourself and make your living situation so much more comfortable. I would say one of the cons, it's just that sometimes, now it's your business. So it's not like you could just shut it off and like, leave the office and you're home and now it's over. It's a little different now. You feel more responsible for things. I catch myself thinking about it more, but I don't mind it. Like it's for me. So it's kind of like when you have a baby and they cry, and then other people are like, oh, that baby's crying, but it's your baby, so it doesn't bother you. So this is like my baby right now.
Those are very good points, and I like to think about that, especially where you pointed out the con is when you own the business, the buck stops with you. So you either have systems in place or you have staff to help you out, and you are constantly thinking about the business and how do you fine tune it and how do you make it go faster. Well, I already know you're one of our top producing agents in a very short amount of time. And I know that recently you were recognized and rewarded in a recent life promotion payout that you had. How did that feel to be amongst the leaders in our district already?
I was shocked. I always feel like I could do more, so I was just so excited. My husband was so happy. My daughter, she's 9, so she understands like, what recognition is and awards. So I was just so happy. This was something that I had control over. It wasn't like I had to depend on other people to get me there. So I was really proud of myself that I was able to control this and get myself in the top one of the top positions when it comes to life. And I'm very passionate about life. That was actually one of my first careers when it came to insurance. It wasn't a life insurance only company. So I feel really strongly about it, and I'm very passionate about it. So it was nice to be recognized for something that I'm passionate about.
Well, it was super fun from my perspective to have such a new agent with those leaders. And we had a lot of fun playing games on Zoom, virtual escape room. What a great time. We had the spinny wheel with yours truly, with my head spinning around, and agents, including yourself, won a bunch of money in addition to the other prizes. And we all shared dinner around the Zoom conference call. And so I think we're making do with things. So Heidi, gosh, again, I wish you much continued success in your journey. You're such a great partner, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon. So have a great one.
Thank you, Dave.
We are farmers. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum.